It's 11:47 p.m. The kitchen light is still on. The dishwasher hums. And you're standing there. Not because you're hungry, but because you picked up your phone for a second and somehow ended up 10 minutes deep into videos you don't even remember clicking. You told yourself you'd just check one notification. And now you're scrolling again. Mindlessly. Almost automatically. And the strange part is, you don't even feel entertained. Just stuck. So why do some people feel almost addicted to mindlessly scrolling through their phones, even when they know it's draining them? By the end of this, you'll probably recognize which type you are, and more importantly, what your scrolling might actually be protecting you from. This isn't about right or wrong. It's not about willpower. Most of the time, it has more to do with what your brain has quietly learned to value and what it's trying to avoid. Because when people say they're addicted to scrolling, they're often describing something deeper than boredom. They're describing a loop. And there are usually three kinds of loops. The first type is what I'd call the protective scroller. Picture this. It's Sunday afternoon. The house is quiet. There's laundry on the couch. A text you haven't answered. You sit down just to decompress, and suddenly you're 45 minutes into your feed. Not because you're curious, because you don't want to feel something. For this type, scrolling can act like emotional buffering. When the brain senses discomfort, stress, loneliness, uncertainty, it looks for relief. Social media offers tiny, unpredictable rewards. A like, a funny clip, a message. That unpredictability releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in habit formation. And because the effort is low, just a thumb moving, the brain learns quickly. This works. Do it again. You might hear this person say, "I just needed to zone out," or "I don't even know why I opened it." They're not broken. They adapted. Scrolling became a way to avoid sitting alone with tension their nervous system doesn't love. Then there's the overloaded scroller. This one looks different. It's 3:12 p.m. at work. Slack notifications, emails, calendar alerts. Your brain already feels full. So what do you do during a 5-minute break? You open TikTok, which seems backward, right? But here's the mechanism. When we're cognitively overloaded, the brain's executive function, the part that helps with decision-making and focus, gets fatigued. And when it's tired, it stops regulating as well. Short-form content requires almost no deep thinking. It's fast, shallow, emotional, designed to trigger surprise or humor. So instead of resting your brain, you feed it more stimulation. Because stimulation feels easier than effort. This person might say, "I just can't focus anymore." Or, "I'll start after one more video." Research over the years suggests our average attention span while looking at screens has dropped dramatically, not because we're less intelligent, but because our brains are constantly switching tasks, and every switch has a cost. So scrolling isn't laziness. It can be mental fatigue disguised as entertainment. And then there's the identity scroller. This one is subtle. It's not about escape. It's not even about overload. It's about belonging. You wake up and check your phone before your feet hit the floor. Not out of stress, but out of habit. You want to know what happened overnight, who posted, what's trending, where you stand. Human beings are wired for social feedback. In evolutionary terms, being included meant survival. So every notification, every heart, every comment becomes a tiny signal. You're seen. You're part of this. But here's the twist. The brain can't always distinguish between meaningful connection and digital acknowledgement. So it keeps checking. Not because you're shallow. Because your brain values belonging. You might hear this person say, "I just don't want to miss anything," or quietly admit, "I feel weird if I don't check." Over time, this can create what psychologists sometimes call a reward prediction loop. You never quite know what you'll get when you open the app, and that unpredictability keeps you coming back. It's not dramatic, it's subtle reinforcement. Now here's the part most people don't talk about. Sometimes the behavior isn't your personality. It's your nervous system being cautious. When information overload drains you, when loneliness creeps in, when belonging feels fragile, your brain reaches for the fastest available solution. Scrolling is easy. Silence is not. And none of that means you're weak. It means your brain learned something. But what we repeat, we strengthen. And over time, mindless scrolling can affect more than we realize. It can shorten how long we stay with one thought. It can make books feel too slow. It can make conversations feel less stimulating than a screen. It can even blur the difference between rest and distraction. This doesn't just stay on your phone. It shows up in how you handle conflict. Do you stay or mentally escape? It shows up in work. Can you tolerate boredom long enough to finish something hard? It shows up in relationships. Are you fully there or half checking something else? And yet, not everyone fits perfectly into one category. Culture matters. Family patterns matter. Personality matters. Some people scroll a lot and feel fine. Others scroll a little and feel drained. The point isn't to label yourself, it's to notice the pattern. Because the moment you can say, oh, that's what's happening, you regain a little control. You might even try something small. Not quitting your phone forever. Just noticing the moment before you open it. That split second. Are you bored, anxious, lonely, tired? Sometimes simply naming it reduces the pull. And here's the hopeful part. Studies suggest that when people reduce even a portion of their daily screen time, they often report better sleep, improved focus, and lower anxiety within days or weeks. Not because the phone is evil, but because your brain finally gets a chance to breathe. So let me ask you, which type felt familiar? The one protecting themselves from emotion? The one overwhelmed and mentally fatigued? Or the one quietly chasing connection? Or maybe you've been all three at different times in your life. Have you noticed your attention changing over the years? Do you feel more focused than you used to, or less? I'm curious which one you relate to most. If you enjoy breaking down everyday behaviors in a way that actually makes sense, without shame, without judgment, stay with us. We go deeper here, not to diagnose, just to understand. And sometimes understanding is enough to loosen the grip.